Now, Kamala Harris's niece deleted the tweet when she assumed that the shooter yesterday was a white man. Quote, "The Atlanta shooting was not even a week ago. Violent white men are the greatest terrorist threat to our country." And right on cue, former President Barack Obama has accused the GOP of being, quote, "cowardly" by blocking laws that limit, quote, "weapons of war," close quote. I heard one commentator refer to the AR-15 that apparently was used as a automatic weapon. And according to CNN, quote, headline, "The Colorado attack is the 7th mass shooting in 7 days in the U.S., end of quote. So I thought we would address some of these topics with my next guest. He is author of a number of books, including More Guns, Less Crime, The Bias Against Guns, Freedomnomics. Recent books include Dumbing Down the Courts, How Politics Keeps the Smartest Judges Off the Bench, and War on Guns. He's founder and president of Crime Prevention Research Center. CrimeResearch.org is the website. Please welcome back to the program Professor John Lott. John, how are you?
Doing great. Those applause never get old, but I appreciate it.
John, can we start with this headline from CNN? The Colorado attack is the 7th mass shooting in 7 days in the U.S. What?
Yeah, so there are two different types of cases that they kind of mix together. I mean, people, when they hear that, think of something that happened yesterday in Boulder, Colorado, or happened a week ago in Atlanta, Georgia. But what they mix in with that are basically gangs fighting each other over drug turf. Now, are gangs fighting each other over drug turf important? Yeah. One wants to try to figure out how to stop those. But the causes and solutions for those are dramatically different than the types of things where we see somebody usually planning on committing suicide and wanting to go out and just take as many people with them so they can get publicity when they die. And by mixing those two things together, I think they really give people a misimpression about, how frequent the types of mass public shootings like that happened yesterday are. I mean, last year we had 2 of those types of mass public shootings where 4 more people were killed in a public place, not part of some other type of crime, but the point of the attack was to go and simply try to kill or wound people.
And so the point, John, is when you look at America in the last several years, the number of these so-called mass shootings, if you use a consistent definition, has really not gone up.
No, I mean, the last year was very low, and the year before was also pretty low. Mm-hmm. So, one can go and say that last year was an unusual year in many ways, but there's just a huge amount of misinformation. I mean, you were mentioning Kamala Harris's niece and the tweet that she put out. Mm-hmm. If one watches entertainment television evening shows, the big thing from January on this year has been white supremacists committing crimes. I mean, whether it's NCIS Los Angeles or Bull or you name the show, it's white supremacists posing a danger to other people. And the other thing is, it's clear, and they've been bragging about this, the gun control groups are working with the screenwriters for these shows. And my guess is they poll tested this thing to go and, that would give them the most impact. And, you watch these entertainment shows, and like 80% of the criminals that use guns are using machine guns. So they're referring to them as AR-15s and what have you. So it's really, trying to hit all the high points there for the Democrats who are pushing gun control.
As far as mass shootings, John Lott, are concerned, nationwide, where do we rank? Where does America rank?
Oh,
I said nationwide. I meant worldwide.
Yeah, right, sure. So if you do it on a per capita basis, mm-hmm. The United States has about 4.6% of the world population, and we make up a little bit less than 1% of the shooters. You look at countries like France, for example. France had more casualties from mass public shootings in 1 year, 2015. than the United States had during the entire 8 years of the Obama presidency, even with things like Sandy Hook in there. You look at a country like Russia. Russia has about 50% more mass public shootings than we have here in the United States. Again, using the same definition. We're not talking about Chechen separatists going and killing 470 people at that school that they had in Russia. We're talking about, a year ago, a kid walking into a university, technical university, and firing a gun, or other types of similar attacks that are there. They just don't get news attention. I mean, you have something like the New Zealand attack at the mosque, which will get a huge amount of media attention, and I think in part because it fit certain templates that people wanted it to fit. Mm-hmm. But, few people would know that within 24 hours of that attack, you had a school shooting, a mass public school shooting in Brazil, or you had a mass public shooting in the Netherlands. Even if these attacks in European countries, for example, get news coverage, they're very frequently at the back of the newspapers, and there'll just be one story that will mention it. And it just doesn't fit in people's memory.
My guest is John Lott, author of, among other things, More Guns, Less Crime. John, please don't go away. I want to ask you about what Obama said. Obama referred to the AR-15, at least indirectly, as, quote, a weapon of war, close quote. I want to get your reaction to that. And also this narrative of white supremacists doing mass public shootings. As I mentioned, Mina Harris, Kamala Harris's niece, the Atlanta shooting was not even a week ago. Violent white men are the greatest terror threat in our country. Close. So we're going to talk to John Lott more about this. We come back. I'm Larry Elder.